All right, you should be on reading April 28th. This should be the third week. I'm going to read John Brown and Harper's Ferry Raid, the PDF, if you want to pull that up. All right, John Brown, an abolitionist named John Brown, was passionate in his effort to make slavery in America illegal. He attempted to help escape slaves from the South. The abolitionist movement had been peaceful, which was frustrating to John. He felt slavery was horrific and should be put to an end, using any means necessary, including violence. Brown's plan. John Brown spent many years protesting slavery and became impatient with the lack of progress abolitionists had made. He devised a plan to end slavery in the South once and for all. He planned to organize and arm the slaves in the South, allowing them to revolt and gain their freedom. There were around 4 million slaves in the South, so if all revolted simultaneously, they would easily overtake their masters. In 1859, Brown planned to take over the federal weapons arsenal at Harper's Ferry, Virginia, where the thousands of muskets and other weapons were stored. Brown would take control of these weapons to arm Southern slaves. He tried to get abolitionist leader and former slave Frederick Douglass to participate, but Douglass saw his plan as a suicide mission and declined. The Raid. Brown gathered his small force for the raid on October 16, 1859. A total of 21 men participated, 16 white men, 3 freed black men, 1 freed slave, and 1 fugitive slave. Initially, the raid was successful and they captured the arsenal. However, Brown's plan was reliant on local slaves coming to his aid, but this never happened. The local townspeople and the militia surrounded Brown and his men. Some of the men were killed and the others moved to a small engine house known today as John Brown's Fort. Brown's capture. 2 days after the raid, on October 18th, a group of Marines led by Colonel Robert E. Lee arrived. Brown refused their offer to surrender, causing Lee's Marines to attack. They quickly broke down the door to the engine house and captured the men inside the building. Brown was taken prisoner, but 10 of his men were killed, including 2 of his sons. A third son was captured and later hanged to death. Outcome. Brown and 4 of his men were convicted of treason. They were hanged to death on December 2, 1859. Even though Brown's raid was a failure, he became a martyr for abolitionist cause. The story spread throughout the United States. Many Northerners did not agree with his violent methods, but were supportive of his ideas that slavery should be abolished. In less than a year later, the Civil War started, dividing the North and the South.